So, the huge fight that fight fans have been chomping at the bit for in the world of MMA, yeah, UFC 280, it's here. So I'm here to make my picks for fight night. Roll that intro. Alright guys, welcome back to Championship Rounds. As I mentioned, the stacked card UFC 280 is here, happening this weekend in Abu Dhabi. And I'm going to keep it short and sweet and go ahead and deliver my money picks. Yeah, the champ picks straight from Championship Rounds right now. The first fight that I'm going to talk about is on the undercard. It's Sean Brady versus Belal Muhammad. Belal Muhammad's been in the UFC for a very long time. This guy has the most pokeable eyeballs in the sport. Yeah, his eyeballs are humongous.
These big, gigantic, bulging eyeballs. Freeze is like, yeah, wow. That motherfucker got some big ass eyes. My name. Well, the people call me Eyeballs. I laughed in his fucking face.
It's not a coincidence that he fought the champion, the now champion Leon Edwards, and the fight was stopped due to eye pokes. I'm not surprised. Not the first time those eyes have been poked on. Anyhow, the guy's on an 8-fight unbeaten streak, Muhammad is, and he's fighting Sean Brady, the up-and-comer, who is undefeated at 15-0, 5 of those wins coming inside of the UFC. Who do I have winning this fight? Whomever can impose their will. Will it be Belal Muhammad, the cardio king? Or will it be the brute force of Sean Brady in the wrestling? We'll have to see. I think Belal Muhammad struggles mostly against fighters that have the reach on him, as we saw at the beginning of that fight with Leon Edwards. So I don't know if Brady has the striking to put Belal on notice and give him the ability to take him down and impose his will. Either way, do I see either of these guys fighting a fight that they could take each other down and hold each other down? No, I don't. So I see this fight taking place mostly on the feet. I give the nod to Belal Muhammad. Yes, remember the name. Another one on the win docket. Yeah, Belal Muhammad defeats Sean Brady and takes away that O. Sean Brady ain't fought nobody, to be honest with you. I mean, we give him props for the fights that he has won. 5 fights inside of the UFC. The only fighter that I would say has a pulse, Jake Matthews looked good in his last fight. He beat him. And then Michael Chiesa, he beat him. But I feel like Belal Muhammad beats both of them. So again, I'm picking Belal Muhammad to get this done. Lock that in. Next fight is a fight in the women's flyweight division. Yes, Caitlin Chookagian takes on Manon Fiorot. Yeah, sorry about that, but a lot of hype is behind this Manon Fiorot. She's on a 9-fight winning streak. She lost her MMA debut, and she hasn't lost since. Well, she hasn't fought anybody since. Yeah, there's not a lot of people to fight at 125 in MMA. Really? The cream rises to the top, and that cream is far away from the rest. Look at the divisions in women's MMA. You have the best fighters at the top, and then there's a big gap between them and the rest. No secret here. Manon Fiorot has fought no one. Caitlin Chookagian, she's fought the who's who. She's been beaten and stopped by 2 champions in Jessica Andrade and Valentina Shevchenko. She's only lost 2 other fights to fighters who's fought for a world title, and those were by split decision. That's just the facts. Manon Fiorot is not of that ilk. Chalk it up. Caitlin Chookagian gets the dub. Next fight, Beneil Dariush versus Mateusz Gamrot. Again, another fighter in a disgustingly long win streak in Beneil Dariush. 7-fight win streak against Mateusz Gamrot. Mateusz is on a 4-fight winning streak. Matter of fact, the only fight that he's lost is his UFC debut, in which he lost by split decision. The jitters were there. Mateusz Gamrot, fresh off of a fight that he won by, I believe, is it unanimous decision? Let me see here. Yes, unanimous decision against Arman Tsarukyan. Don't know that name? Arman Tsarukyan fought Islam Makhachev to a decision in a competitive fight. What does that tell you? That tells you that Mateusz Gamrot can hold his own as far as grappling is concerned. Beneil Dariush, he's got his fair share of knockout wins, spinning back fist or just flush right hands, as which he landed on Drakkar Klose. But I feel like if Beneil Dariush can't get this fight to the ground, it's trouble for him. I feel like every fighter that has fought Beneil Dariush has backed him up against the cage. In some of those fights, Beneil has won. A lot of them most recently with his winning streak in question, 7 fights. So obviously he's won more recently. But he's had some dicey outings. This one, I think he'll get more dicey than what he can handle. And I see Mateusz Gamrot going away victoriously by finish. Yes, I see him winning inside of the distance. Next fight is former world champion Petr Yan versus the Sugar Show, Sean O'Malley.
This is a question for Sean O'Malley. Sean, yesterday at the media day, Peter said that you're a UFC project and a Conor McGregor wannabe. I'm curious, do the comments like that annoy you, or do they tell you that you're on the trajectory you want to be on to be an amazing superstar?
I mean, Conor's not, maybe some of the stuff he's done recently, not a wannabe, but, his career, he's had a pretty sweet career. So, yeah, I think it's someone, not too bad to look, I'm going to smash Peter. How about that? Is that a better answer? He's 5'5". There's no way. It says he's 5'7" on the stats, but there's no way he's 5'5" or 5'7". I just believe I'm a lot better everywhere.
He says that you're not 5'7", that you're 5'5". Can you confirm that you are 5'7"?
There's no way. He can't. No, he can't.
Он говорит, что твой рост указан неверно в статистике, что ты ниже, чем указано.
Братан, при чем тут рост? Вы посмотрите на его вид. Это как девушка с дороги, я не знаю.
It's not about the height. Just look at him. He's like a whore on the side of the road.
Any response, Sean, or are you just going to leave that one there?
No, that was good. That was good.
Я могу забрать сейчас у него пояс. Вы этого хотите?
I can take that belt right now if I want.
Unless
Я
it takes your
понимаю,
back.
все. Сейчас у меня цель пудель.
Right now my goal is poodle.
Yes. After я буду драться либо со Стерлингом, либо с Dillashaw.
And after that, I'm going to fight either Sterling or Dillashaw.
Yeah, a lot of people, when this fight was made, were like, oh my gosh, you just throw Sugar Sean O'Malley in there? He hasn't beat anybody in the top 5, top 10, or whatever it is. His last fight, his first fight against a highly ranked opponent, and Pedro Munoz gets stopped due to an eye poke in a fight where people said Munoz won round 1 using his damn leg kicks, Now you throw him in there with Petr Yan.
Hey, I'm not surprised, motherfuckers.
I'm not surprised. I feel like the Munoz fight was a setup fight. You take a short, stocky guy with short arms, with a little bit of power in his hands, leg kicks, a little bit of grappling and dexterity, and you put Sean O'Malley in there with his mobility, his length, and his speed, and his power. I feel like that was a setup fight. They gave him that fight knowing that they were going to throw him to the wolves in the very next fight. So that fight didn't end the way they wanted it to end, I'm sure. But it ended in a way where O'Malley didn't take much damage, so you already had the plan in place. So hell, go ahead and throw him in there. It would have been nice if they could have said, well, he beat Pedro Munoz, but fuck it. Put him in there. And they are. And I feel like a lot of guys are like, oh man, Jan is going to run through this guy. But if you think about it, like, who has Petr Yan really beat? No, seriously. Who has Petr Yan really beat? People say, oh, he beat Uriah Faber. He beat Jose Aldo. These guys are in the twilight of their careers when they lose to Petr Yan. Uriah Faber was coming back from retirement. Jose Aldo was dropping down from a division he had competed in for many years. The lion's share of his career. Jimmy Rivera, John Dodson, Douglas Da Silva de Andrade. We big Petr Yan up because he's a former world champion and he's beaten Uriah Faber and Jose Aldo. But honestly, who has he really beaten? Corey Sandhagen, who Aljamain Sterling defeated in seconds? I mean, big win for him. I get that. But he hasn't been able to win against Aljamain Sterling in 2 fights. And I don't care how the first fight was going. He disqualified himself and lost it and could not win the second time. Lost a split decision. So Aljo is the rightful champion, much to the dismay of many fans. I'll tell you what, this is a tough one to pick because Jan also has very good leg kicks. He also has very good judo and grappling and all of the whole nine. Power in his hands, but he's going to have to get inside to land that. And I know he's not going to land. He's not going to stay on the outside and try to leg kick O'Malley to death like Pedro Munoz did. But I'm sure the leg kicks will be a part of the strategy, the game plan, if you will. O'Malley, I feel like he has the ability to put Petr Yan away. Knockout. And that's exactly what I'm picking to happen. And that's why I've got his name right here with a damn check mark next to it. O'Malley, lock it in. O'Malley will use his speed. He will use that power and that counter ability to either win the fight on points, but I think he's going to get him out of there. I think it's going to be a short night. I think O'Malley channels his inner Conor McGregor, I mean, as cliche as that may sound, and gets Petr Yan out of there inside a round and a half. Next fight. This is a bantamweight title fight. Yes, 135 pounds. The aforementioned Aljamain Sterling defends his title for the second time against the former champion who never lost his title. Well, not formally. TJ Dillashaw.
So, you guys are all familiar with the Embedded episodes. For some reason, I haven't seen TJ in any of the Embedded episodes. That's how he got caught last time. I wonder if there's something going on again that might be a little fishy, TJ.
Look, I've come to terms with it. It's time now.
Speak up like a man.
You're gonna get your ass whipped like, oh, you're gonna get your ass whipped by a cheater, motherfucker.
I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Speak up like a man.
Yeah. He's so worried about it. He's so worried about it, he can come test me himself. He could test these nuts in his mouth.
Yes, TJ Dillashaw came back from a 2-year suspension from being identified as a CEO of EPO. Yeah, he served that 2-year USADA suspension, came back and etched his way to victory, eked his way to victory against Corey Sandhagen in a fight that some people say Sandhagen won. Well, you know what I think? I think that TJ Dillashaw is 36 years old. I think that he's got rust and he's set 2 years off while Aljamain Sterling has been active. Aljamain Sterling himself, 21-3 on a 7-fight win streak. You know, just defeated Petr Yan. Again, he defeated Sandhagen in minutes. And it took injury and, you know, Dillashaw had to walk through hell for that victory. And he did. Fair play to him. I just feel like the Funkmaster is on another level as of right now. I mean, TJ Dillashaw is a couple split decision wins and a couple knockouts to one Henry Cejudo and John Dodson away from being undefeated in his whole career. But his whole career is nearing an end because I felt like he looked very old against Corey Sandhagen. And again, that's why I'm picking the Funkmaster, Aljamain Sterling. Let's move on to the last fight. It's the most anticipated fight on the card. It is Charles Oliveira do Bronx versus Islam Makhachev. A lot of people say, oh, well, Islam just don't have the stand-up game. You see, when he got knocked out by Martins, knocked out, finished. And they want to use that as a catalyst in saying, oh, well, that's why Oliveira is going to knock out Islam Makhachev. Well, when GSP got knocked out by Matt Serra, did anybody else knock him out afterwards? Oh, you're putting Islam Makhachev on GSP's level. Well, nobody else has beaten Islam Makhachev. He's finished all of his most recent opponents. And I'm not just jumping on the Islam Makhachev train and crapping on Charles Oliveira, whom holds all the records for finishes and submissions regardless of the weight class. No, he's well decorated. But at the end of the day, what we have to quantify is how many times has Charles Oliveira gotten a finish off of his back. I'm sure he has. How many times? Okay? And what were his submissions? Rear naked chokes. You hurt a guy, you jump in on a choke, you secure the submission. Guillotines. You catch a guy coming in for a takedown, you jump guillotine, you secure the submission. Armbar. Yeah, probably from underneath. Definitely. They can be performed from on top, of course, but probably from underneath. And the list goes on. My point being, Islam Makhachev is a guy that's not going to shy away from the ground game. That is his game plan. As a matter of fact, he's going to try to get him there. And he's going to try to submit Charles Oliveira. And at the end of the day, I think he's going to do it. I think that this guy is train, eat, sleep, Allah. You know, and I messed up the order, but you get it. Charles Oliveira is a model now. He's out here playing with tigers. He's out here with a huge, humongous entourage. Okay? He is probably really, really famous in Brazil. And this is more of a changing of a guard fight. Brazil used to be the class of mixed martial arts with champions like Anderson Silva, Shogun Rua, Jose Aldo, Machida, the Nogueira brothers, Cyborg. You know, I could, you know, they're listed Marco Huas, Pedro Hizo. The list goes on. I could just Murillo Bustamante. Like, that's the thing. Like, I can just keep going and going and going because Brazil was the class. Then America came in with their wrestling, and they controlled the game for a little bit. You know what I mean? Striking ramped up. Now we got the guys from Dagestan. You know what I mean? The Smash Factory. They're all coming in. They're doing their thing. You got the Makhachevs. We already had Khabib. You got Chimaev. You know, you get what I'm saying here. This sport is cycling, and this is what's going on in present day. And I feel like that cycling continues on the night. Saturday night, UFC 280, I got Islam Makhachev getting it done. Lock it in. Get it while it's at a good freaking, odds, because the odds fluctuate, I don't know who the favorite is currently. I believe when the fight odds, last I looked, Islam was the favorite. So if you're putting a bet down, get it down before the line gets any, further. But I think there's equal betting on both sides. So I think whenever you bet, you should be good. But guys, those are my picks. Again, I got Bilal Muhammad taking Sean Brady's O away. I got Caitlin Chukagian showing Manon Farrow that she's just not ready for this level of fighter. Not yet. I also have Benil Dariush losing by finish to Mateus Gamrot. Yes, finish. His win streak's over. Mateus, springboards himself right there into title contention. I got it happening. I got O'Malley beating Petr Yan. Yes, as much as it seems like it's a far-fetched thing to happen, no, I got him using that length to win, and I picked him to finish him. Yes, I picked two finishes in a row. Yes, mark it down. And in the co-main event, Aljamain Sterling keeps his belt against the aged but respected TJ Dillashaw. Everybody wants to see the Cinderella story of a guy that never lost his belt, that got suspended, they came back, won a fight, got his belt back, cried, grabbed his newborn baby, kissed it, hugged his wife, all that shit. No, not happening. Aljamain Sterling wins, and the two Jamaican kings remain on their throne. Yes, Leon Edwards as well. That's just a play off of the African kings, and I hope Usman gets that belt back, but for now, you got the two Jamaican kings. Anyways, main event. Yes, I have Islam Makhachev, the second coming of Khabib. I know he's not Khabib. I see the one on his record. I know he's not him. But what he is good enough to beat Charles Oliveira. You'll see on the night. Yeah, Charles Oliveira is definitely good enough to beat him as well, but he's just not my pick. Even though I've been riding on Charles Oliveira's train up until the Gaethje fight where I shouldn't have bet against him, and I did and paid for it. But anyways, guys, that's my picks. That's my spiel. Free game. And as always, if I throw a dog a bone, I don't want to know if it tastes good or not. Until next time, guys, stay frosty.